Alyssa, would you do the roll call, please?
Curtis Kimbrough,
Present.
Bonnie Franzen,
Present.
Pat Che,
Present.
and Robert Gerstag.
All right, with that, we have 4 members present. We have a quorum to conduct business. Mr. Manson indicated he may show up late, depending on his circumstances. Fire exits, there are 2 in front of me to the rear of the audience. There is the main access point, which is to my left, the main door into the building, and then there's another emergency access door over to my right that leads to a patio. With that, let's all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. All right, the first item on the agenda is Henry Farm subdivision. The applicant's representative indicated to us earlier that they would not be present for this meeting. Matt or Ashley, do you have anything to add?
No, I don't have anything to add. They hadn't submitted anything since your last meeting, so they said that they wouldn't be attending this evening.
Okay. We have an agenda from the Dropbox. All right, so thank you for that.
Bonnie, I don't know if you saw Frank had asked if it was possible to move Meadow Hill up. I know we have the public hearing next, but if Meadow Hill could be, moved up even after right after the hearing, to accommodate the schedule.
So are we allowed to move Meadow Hill in front of the public hearing, or do we have to have the public hearing first?
I think maybe I guess are there members of the public there that want to speak at?
There are members of the public here, but I have to say I don't see the applicant. I thought he came in, and now I don't see him. You know what? Let's take Meadow Hill. He's not here. Brian's in the audience. And Frank is online, so we could do that if that's all right. Is that okay, Ashley?
Yes, that's okay. As long as the public knows it'll be a little delayed
Yes.
here.
20 Owen will be after this application. Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. Ryan Smitham with McCure Petroleum Marshall, engineer for the applicant. I apologize, I need props. So we've been continuing to work with the consultants to button up the last remaining items on this, and I believe the only outstanding item currently is the comments from the landscape architect, and I believe based on Karen's most recent memo, she had recommended some screening in front of lots, I believe 4, 5, and 6, so in this area here. This section in the kind of the yellowish area here was a large stand of ash trees, and they've all died out from the emerald ash borer beetle. So while we're not removing any of live trees in that section, she asked for some supplemental screening. There are a few evergreen trees which are proposed to remain along this frontage, but she wanted the board's opinion on some minor screening, I think, in that area. We had briefly mentioned it at the last meeting. The board didn't have any input at it at that time. I just wanted to run through that quickly if there was any final comment on that. The frontage along this section is quite high above the road. It's cleared very far back into the right of way by the county. Obviously the applicant kept the limits of disturbance as narrow as possible to remove as few trees as possible. the landscape architect had indicated that they were reasonable limits that didn't require any mitigation, but then also commented about potential screening. So, like the board's input, but obviously like to keep it as minimal and modest as possible.
I'm going to bring this up. So let's see, where are we?
Right across from that solar field to your north.
Over here, right?
Correct.
Right there. Okay.
So you can see the old, there's old driveway stubs that were installed.
Is this where generally it is?
Correct. It's directly adjacent to where we're proposing the driveway. But as you can see from the heads of the trees there, that whole stand on that northerly side is dead.
So right,
From there up, from there north is all, those are all dead trees. There's a couple of evergreens that are in there, but
yeah, I think you could make them out.
yeah. And some of the ones along the frontage are intended to remain.
Has Karen Arndt suggested any particular species or any?
She did not, actually.
Comment letter. She just highlighted a few areas which she suggested we provide. That's pretty much on the lot line between lots 5 and 6. Kind of where the house is there. And the lot line between lots 3 and 4, again in front of the houses. Those are the two largest areas.
What are I have this so zoomed in, what are the darker?
Any of the trees that are green are intended to remain. Any of the ones that are darker are the ones that are intended to be removed.
Okay.
So there are a couple of evergreen trees that are right in the house area. Obviously, we can't save those with the grading and everything that's required. But we are saving some of the ones in front of the Lot 6 dwelling.
And these are just, you're showing particular trees of a certain diameter. It doesn't mean that there aren't.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
So practically speaking, the limits of disturbance are in red?
Yes, it's
purple.
purple. It's purple. The red are protection fencing for construction fencing protect the trees.
Okay. So the purple is the disturbance limit line.
Correct.
It's tough because this doesn't really give you a sense of how many trees are in that
Correct.
notch area in the front of Lot 5. Lot 6 is wetland, so you're not going to be able to get out in there anyway.
Exactly. So there's a very limited space for screening anyway. We obviously the applicant would rather not do additional plantings, especially if there are smaller trees in there. You're going to be taking down smaller trees to be putting smaller trees in. If you look at the street view, you can kind of get an idea as well along that frontage.
I'm thinking, so practically speaking, this little notch area may have trees.
Yes.
Where you might be able to accommodate trees depending on what's happening, because I think you said toward Lot 4 also,
Yes.
is this is your limits of disturbance. You're doing some grading in here.
Yes.
What is that grading for? Is that for the driveway?
Driveway, yes, and the front of the house.
So I'm thinking that if we were to accommodate anything, maybe we could get it a little bit in here.
Okay. If I picked a couple of species that were on the site that we did from the tree survey.
Yeah, I think something native.
2 or 3 space.
2 or 3, maybe a combination of evergreen and deciduous. I will try and get out there to see what's going on Lot 5, but I just think practically speaking, there's not a lot of room. I don't know what the distance is between the edge of a theoretical home and this clearing limit line. So this is your driveway in here. This is your garage. This is the home.
About 35 feet from the front of that house to that,
Which isn't
Limits.
a lot. And then you're going to mark out, there's a couple trees there now
correct,
that are being preserved.
correct.
You know, my sense is practically speaking, I don't know that there's a lot you can do on 5. I think you can on 4.
Okay,
I think there's room in here.
I think that's perfectly reasonable.
Board members, any thoughts about this?
I agree with that.
Yes. Okay,
Absolutely, no objection to that.
okay. Matt, you had comments?
I did prepare a comment letter. Most of this is just kind of summarizing what's already been done. Comment 2, they've submitted a SWIP, which we've reviewed and have no further comments on that. Comment 3, we just talked about the tree plan and the Karen Art comments and a resolution to that. 4 is just a statement that this project will need to be submitted to the County Health Department once we get to a preliminary stage. 5, we did receive a project narrative for the wetland permit. I've reviewed the information in the narrative, and it appears to be what's required per section 56-7 of the code. So I don't have any further comments on that. Comment 6, I think the last meeting, they were in the process of confirming the DEC wetland jurisdiction. My understanding is that's been resolved in DEC, not on-site wetlands. Comment 7, not sure if we've done county review yet, or if it'll need to be referred for that.
We could see if Ashley has anything in her files. This project's been going on for a long
Long time.
I always feel like we did.
I believe we did, because we wound up getting comments from the county on driveways. We wound up getting those permits in that process, so I believe so.
I feel like we did, but
has
we'll
been a while.
check.
Okay. Comment 8, there's just a subdivider certification note from section 86539 that will just need to be on the final plan. Comment 10, we've gone back and forth with the addition of the planning board approval block on the plans. I think Ryan's got that covered. And then the last item, I think, is what Frank is here for, and that's the review of the well testing data.
All right. So Ashley, I'm going to just put you on hold to get Frank an opportunity to provide his comments. So I think that's the well testing response. Somewhere in here I have the well. Oh. Here we go. All right. So I just wanted to make sure I brought up the memo from Weston and Sampson. Frank, are you there? Okay, great. If you could provide an overview of your memo that you provided?
Sure. First off, thank you for, appreciate you moving the schedule. So thank you for that. Basically what we did, we had been provided information from the board and then also from the applicant direct regarding the testing of lot number 1 well. I just want to I put things in context historically. We had looked at this project going back to 2021, and at that time there had been talk about 2 wells being tested. We had recommended 3 because of the spacing. I've subsequently obviously looked at the information from the county, and the county appears to be okay with testing of 1 well. One thing I just want to put forward, obviously their perspective is relative to the water supply demand needs and quality relative to these being drinking water supply wells. So any information or analysis associated with impacts on other water resources on the property or on adjoining properties, I'm going to put out there, cannot be determined from the information we have. With that said, the test was done over the course of a little longer than 1 day, which is more than the well would ever be used by a resident, assuming typical residential demands. It was done at 5.3 gallons per minute, which is a good rate to use because it's kind of what the peak might be for any particular time when the well goes on. So the duration and the pumping rate are definitely acceptable and sufficient to do the necessary stressing on the aquifer relative to the demand needs. One thing I pointed out in my memo, I think the applicant should go back to the driller to get a little more clarification. There's some missing information or information that does not seem to be accurate based on like the static water level, based on what the groundwater level would be due to pumping and so forth. Not that it matters because from our perspective, but the record itself that would go into the file is not necessarily really representative, I think, of all the conditions that were determined. So I put that as my first bullet. The second is I looked at the groundwater level data associated with the pumping for over 1 day at 5.3 GPM. I included a graph of that data, and the big takeaway from that is that probably within about 10 hours of continuous pumping, the water level, basically the trend is flat, which suggests that it's stabilized. So what that means is the well yield is definitely equivalent, at least at a minimum, to what it was pumped at, which was 5 gallons per minute. And that's a good thing. So we feel that obviously for that particular lot, the water is there. The second plot that I provided references the recovery rate of the water level in the well once the pump was shut off. It was a very rapid recovery, and based on the trend, it can be assumed that the aquifer is more than capable of meeting the demand of the test, which is the 5.3 gallons per minute, or if you want to put it over the course of a day, 7,685 gallons, which more than exceeds what would typically be used by typical residents. I did have a chance to look at that letter that came in towards the end of the day. I wasn't aware these were going to be 5-bedroom homes, but regardless, the applicant and we agree about using 110 gallons per day per bedroom. So with that said, the value that one gets per location is definitely adequately supported by the aquifer. I also looked at the water quality data. The water quality data indicates that at that particular location, lot number 1, that the water is potable. It meets the current standards. The caveats I have on all of these analyses is that we've looked at just one lot, one well. I feel pretty comfortable in terms of the ability of the aquifer to support the demand of the 6 residences based on the development. The only thing that I really can't opine on is what would happen when all 6 wells are actually in use in terms of what we call an interference effect. So when well 1 is pumping, will there be an influence on the well on lot number 2? Probably. How much? Can't say. And obviously, as one goes further to the north through the development, the amount of interference will be less. But then when you superimpose all 6 wells pumping, potentially at the same time at varying rates, there should be enough water from the aquifer, but the hydraulics of the wells I can't attest to, and I'm assuming that as part of the approval of this application. That testing should probably be required just to confirm that whoever winds up in each of those homes knows what the limitations are, and that the well driller is able to put the pump deep enough so that any kind of potentially addressed. And then the last thing has to do with the water quality. The water quality pertains specifically to lot number 1. regarding what happens with lots number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. It's a fractured aquifer. The water kind of comes in particular directions. So again, the same sort of thing as part of the approval. We assume that as each well goes in, it will also be tested. And I would recommend that the testing be similar to what was done for well number 1, just to make sure that that water quality is representative of an aquifer that's under what I would call a conservatively stressed condition. And then lastly, though not the purpose of the test, but one that was by wells and or any wetlands on the property. That can't be addressed by the testing that was conducted if there are any questions related to that. And that's it for me.
Frank, we lost you for a moment. I'm trying to understand, are you saying additional testing should be done, or at the time that additional wells are put in after the lots are created?
At the time the additional wells are put in, when the lots are created.
So you're suggesting there should be some condition that there's a check at that point?
Yeah, I think just in terms of, as these other wells go in, that, because again, 5 gallons per minute relative to the aquifer yield doesn't appear to be an issue, but if you have all 6 wells pumping at 5 gallons per minute at any one particular time, which is not going to be unusual or unheard of for development. People all get up around the same time, they use their water at around the same time, it rests at the same time, and so forth. Plus, I'm assuming, we're not addressing issues related to irrigation. It would be, I think, it would be beneficial for the applicant, testing, to know what those conditions are, so at least they can allow for it relative to where the pumps are setting. And then the same thing with respect to water quality. I know the health department's going to require each one of these wells be sampled and be analyzed, relative
Frank,
and
sorry,
can
Frank,
you hear me
just,
again?
yeah, if you could speak up a little bit, thank you.
Anyway, my point is that as part of residents are developing well, a specific resident goes in, that it has adequate testing relative to not only individual fields, but what there might be as far as interference from wells on either side if they're pumping at the same time. Just to confirm that there's not going to be any sort of overlap or stealing of yield from one well to another. Likewise, the quality of each well should be determined, and I believe that's going to be required by the health department anyway.
Frank, do they test for PFAS?
Yes.
And there was
And
no
none was
PFAS encountered?
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, the water quality was potable. Everything looked pretty good. A little elevated iron, which is typical for the area. Slightly elevated manganese, again, the same thing typical for the area based on the local geology. But that was it. Any of the other typical parameters that one might find associated with human activities such as PFAS or VOCs and so forth, none were detected.
All right. Does anybody have questions for Frank while we have him? Bob? No? Pat? No? No. Ashley, do you have any questions for Frank?
No, I think not at this point. I did send the draft neg deck to Frank. I don't know if he had any comments on that. And then also I would just ask if the board is going to impose conditions, that were suggested by Frank, that he just could help when we get to that point with crafting the language for those.
Okay, thank you. Matt, and you didn't have?
No, I think that's a good suggestion. If Frank has some recommendations for the additional testing, if those could be referenced maybe as a specific condition in your resolution when you get to that point.
Okay.
Just as a clarification for myself, these are conditions above what the health department's going to require from their review for each of the wells when they're drilled?
I think that they're going to be recommendations, conditions related to when the well driller goes out, suggested design considerations
Understood.
of where to set the pump. I think those were some of what I heard.
Yeah, and just from the testing,
Yeah,
quantity and quality.
yep, okay. So I think with that, Frank, I believe this was the only application we needed your assistance on this evening. So
Okay,
if-
thank you.
Yep, if you need to help, if you need to head out, please feel free to do so.
Okay, will do. And if you need anything else, feel free to give me a call.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Ashley, comments?
Sure, so the first, I know you had mentioned, or Matt had mentioned the Orange County GML review, so this was referred quite a while ago, and at that point, it was the sketch plan, so the county had commented that it was waiting for a full statement, which means all materials required to make a determination of significance under seeker. So at this point, now that I think you're at that stage, it would be appropriate to re-refer to the county.
Okay, so we will coordinate with Alyssa to send the GML review out to the county. And this evening, we have a draft of a negative declaration, SEAF, parts 1 or parts 2 and 3?
Yes.
Okay, do you have any other comments before we tackle that?
I think that was my main, one question I had for the applicant was, I think they were waiting on a letter, a JD letter from the DEC. I didn't know whether they had received that yet.
They had sent an unofficial email, I think that we had forwarded, basically saying, yes, this is going to be non-jurisdictional.
Okay, there was a lot of emails, but I think after
Correct.
the last meeting back and forth, so it might have slipped through.
Correct. It was specifically based on the urban aspect of the wetlands located, or because the urban district was in the town of Chester, so any of the wetlands that were adjoining that were lumped into that, adjoining this property. So that regulation no longer exists, so they're waiting on, of course, now Albany has 1 million JD letters that they're issuing, but yes, it is coming.
Okay.
Okay. So then, Bonnie, if you're able to pull up that EAF part 2, and we could go over that in the negative
Yep, and so
declaration.
I have the part 2 up.
Great. So, as we've done in the past, the red squares around the questions indicate that it's a small impact as opposed to no impact. And the areas then of small impact are addressed in the negative declaration explaining why they didn't rise, to the level of a moderate or large impact.
So the impacts that you've highlighted are use or intensity of use of land, small impact, impair the character quality of the existing community, level of traffic, affect existing infrastructure, small, because it will generate traffic. Increase in the use of energy, that was a no. Public or private water supplies, wastewater treatment facilities, those are small to moderate, or small impacts. Historic, archaeological, architectural or aesthetic, small. Wetlands, water bodies, flora, fauna, small. And then potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems, small. And so then we have the actual form. Do you want me to now open up the neg deck?
If you could, that'd be great.
Okay.
And as you go through the neg deck, I had highlighted in yellow just some items I just want to confirm with the applicant. And I think there was a blank for how many trees were going to be potentially, replanted. And I know you discussed that a little bit earlier. So we could maybe fill in a number when we get to that point.
Okay, so this is the draft of the negative declaration. Name of action, Meadow Hill subdivision, and this is a cluster subdivision, as well as a wetland permit application. Town of Monroe Planning Board is the lead agency. Date of action is today. Seeker status, this is an unlisted action. you're seeking approval of a 6-lot cluster subdivision. And this is on Lakes Road. So reasons supporting this determination, we've reviewed the Part 2. No questions in Part 2 were moderate to large. For those questions where any particular element, there was an impact, there's a narrative here. So impact on land use. So it is changing intensity of land because of the fact that it's converting from vacant to ultimately residential uses, but it's not considered significant. You highlighted, Ashley, all stormwater runoff from the proposed action will flow through existing paths that will discharge to the county's existing drainage infrastructure within Lakes Road.
Yes, is that a correct statement? It's really a question for Matt or Ryan.
I would say that the front half, that is true for the front half of the property. The rear half will discharge through the existing drainage paths that run towards the north, towards Camp Monroe Road, through the adjoining site on Chester.
So,
And then across
so it's going to cross other properties?
correct.
Trout Brook.
I don't know if it's actually tributary to, is that the Trout Brook to the west there? Or is the Trout Brook the next, I think it's an unnamed tributary. So there's a drainage channel that runs through there.
This drainage channel, yeah.
Then there's two. They're both fairly established.
And then there's this one.
Correct. And, this is a very minor subdivision. Because it's a cluster, we're obviously keeping the disturbance and the change in cover very isolated on the site. This is not something that would cause a very large change in the hydrology. Additionally, it's only half of the site that is going in that direction, whereas the other half is continuing to go towards the front of the site. It's not going to be a large impact to the existing drainage course. The drainage course that is receiving it is quite large, very capable of handling that.
So I guess, should we take out that part that says that will discharge to the county's existing drainage infrastructure within Lakes Road? Just trying to figure out how best to modify that sentence.
Along existing drainage paths?
Are they still existing drainage paths?
Yes.
Would you say?
Absolutely. They collect on this side, the adjoining wetlands, and then continue on those drainage courses.
So this one's Cromline Creek, actually, according to that map. And this one is Cromline Creek. Oh, maybe it's the watershed that it's referring to. I'm just trying to get the names. This is probably the trout. Well, I can't tell.
Yes.
Things are coming up Cromline.
I think the Trout Brook might be, I think this might be a tributary to it, potentially, if you go north further.
It's up this way.
Yeah. Still
Yeah,
Cromline.
I think it's because it's showing up as a watershed. Oh,
There
there we
you
go, Trout Brook. That's it. So this is Trout Brook coming through,
Right.
and that's a trib to it. But it's not even the drainage channel that's shown on the site itself.
Correct, and you can actually see the drainage channel through the large triangles in the topo there on the west side, where it goes through. There's two drainage courses, and it's the drainage from this site is split between them, so really it's quartered, since half the site is going to the front and half the site's going to the rear.
Okay. So getting back to the neg deck,
Just how, with the development, how much of a change is there going to be? In the existing conditions, it drains forward and back on the site now.
Correct.
How much of a change is there going to be between what goes towards Lakes Road and what goes ultimately towards Troutborough?
Virtually nothing. It's virtually going to be the same.
Okay.
Grading was pretty limited to construct
Yeah.
the house sites, so there's minor changes to the actual drainage divides.
So maybe just say all stormwater runoff from the proposed action will flow through existing paths to existing stream channels or Lakes Road. Would that be accurate?
That's accurate.
Did you get that, Ashley?
Yes, so it'll say, all stormwater runoff from the proposed action will flow through existing paths to stream channels or infrastructure, or the county's existing infrastructure within Lakes Road.
Yes. Yes.
Trying not to use the word existing like 3 times.
We know you'll fix it.
All right.
Next section is impact on community character. Again, we are changing the nature of the property. We're introducing residences. This talks about lighting not to exceed 3,000 Kelvin. This is a cluster subdivision, therefore 50% of the gross area is required to be set aside for conservation. I think importantly, 6.4 acres are being preserved, and a portion of the area would be dedicated to the New York, New Jersey Trails Conference for a potential trail extension. That will remain for a period, that offer will remain for a period of 5 years?
That's what the applicant's proposing. So I know, and I spoke with the applicant, with Ryan, earlier this week, and I asked that they reach back out. I know there had been some attempts to contact the trail conference early on in the project. I think historically, my understanding is it's not that easy to get in touch with them or get a response from them. So I did ask that they attempt to, reach back out, but they're proposing to file some sort of offer of dedication for that piece to allow them to accept it in the 5-year period.
Can we leave out the 5-year period if we haven't had that communication and just say, for a period to be determined as part of the preliminary plat approval decision?
Yeah, we could say for a period of time to be determined at the time of subdivision approval.
Yes.
And it could either be, preliminary or final.
Yeah, because then we don't have, just in case
you could
there's
try
some
that,
change.
yes, that-
Understood.
Yeah,
Sure. And so Brian, again, if you could try to get in contact with someone.
Absolutely. They're probably hiking.
okay, impact on traffic and transportation. So there will be trips generated from new vehicles that come from the residential uses, but the impact's anticipated to be small. If anyone has questions, just please speak up. Okay, impact on water supply, wastewater treatment facilities. These are going to be served by individual on-site septic systems and individual on-site wells. We did have our hydrogeologist take a look at the data. He obviously explained to us his findings in his report that he issued today. So Ashley, you have some of this language highlighted in yellow.
Yes, so I think I had highlighted it, it was before I had gotten Frank's comments. I don't know if the board had anything they wanted to add based on Frank's memo, his comments this evening. I tried to just keep it simple in here, and then the one question I had, I think, just confirming that Matt had reviewed the location and design of the septics and didn't have any issue with those.
Yes, we did.
We could indicate, well test results indicate that the water supply is adequate to service the total amount proposed action yielded 5.3 gallons per minute. Water quality tests indicate the water sampled meets drinking water standards, And maybe we could just add a sentence, this has been confirmed in accordance with the planning board's hydrogeologist in a letter dated July 21, 2026. So
Sure.
just make reference to the letter that we received as evidence that it's been determined that this water supply will be adequate. And then I would say, prior to subdivision approval, additional recommendations will be included as conditions of approval related to water supply design for the individual wells as per the hydrogeologist's comments. So then we're noting that there'll be those conditions later on. Okay, impacts on historic and archaeological resources. I thought there was an archaeological study done for this.
I believe that we, I think there was before, there was, I believe either there was no impact letter or I had previously provided it, or a phase one, but it was from so long ago,
Yeah. I think there was, and I think it was done by Tracker, like a long time ago. All right, hang on. I think we should reference it if it was done. What's the downside of the way I do this? SHPO response, 1/30/2024.
Yeah, it didn't reference is it the
Reference-
July 2019?
Reference the SHPO correspondence from 2019.
Yeah, and that didn't reference, because usually the SHPO response itself would
Yeah.
refer to the study.
Right. And I thought I could swear that Tracker had done something. And I know, I think this project started with a different engineering company, right?
it did, and that letter was from them, and I don't see anything else in my files here. I believe that is the only letter. It was the no impact.
Okay. All right, and you didn't find anything, right, Ashley? Or otherwise you would have included it.
Yeah, I didn't find anything, and this one actually had started before my time as well, so I looked in the files though that I did have from your prior council, and I didn't see anything in there.
Okay. Yeah, this one's been going on for a little while. All right, I think since we don't have anything, we can't report on it. All right, so that's it, but we do have a letter, in essence, addressing.
From SHPO, yes.
Yeah. And then impacts on natural resources. Again, we're changing the landscape, so there may be a change to wetlands, water bodies, flora and fauna. Wetlands that are under the jurisdiction of the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer and the town of Monroe, since we have our own wetland regulations. And involves disturbance of the wetland buffer. Placement of about 1,190 cubic yards of fill within the 100-foot wetland buffer. Total buffer disturbance of approximately 1.37 acres. And this includes buffer disturbances on lots 4 and 5 associated with the sewage disposal system. And then project may contain habitat for the northern long-eared bat, and you're removing 129 trees, and you'll comply with the tree removal restrictions. So that limits tree removal between November 1st and March 31st. And that'll be included as a note in the subdivision plat. And then the applicant will plant at least, we don't really know the number of trees yet, Ashley. We were talking about where they might be able to place them, but we don't actually have a number at this point.
Okay.
A number to be determined at final subdivision.
Do you
Yeah,
have an idea of a?
it's not gonna be in the hundreds.
No, we were,
It's
we were
probably
talking
gonna be
about 2 to
less than
3.
10. I would say it's less than 10 to be, that's the order of magnitude.
So maybe we'll just say the applicant will plant at least 10 trees?
We said 2 to 3 earlier in the meeting.
Right.
I don't want to commit to triple that already. Yes.
Yeah, it literally, we're thinking of the area where we talked about the trees being affected by the emerald ash borer. But a lot of that area is within the limits of disturbance. And the reality is there are already trees, even though the ash may be dead, there's still trees in the area that are not going to be disturbed. They just may not happen to be of a particular diameter that they showed up on the map. So the one area where really you could place trees would be on lot 4, I think we talked about, by the driveway. And it's not a lot of area, maybe 2 to 3 may fit, but why don't we just say we'll plant approximately 10 plus or minus, and we'll have Cal see if there's any place else potentially we could stick one, but I think that gives you an order of magnitude.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay? And, all right, so then we get into impact on drainage, runoff, and flooding. So again, you have all stormwater, you had a question, all stormwater
Yeah,
runoff.
so I'm gonna change that to read, all stormwater runoff from the proposed action will continue to flow through established drainage paths to the existing stream channels or to the county's existing drainage infrastructure within Lakes Road.
Okay, sounds good. They will
It'll
need-
match what was added earlier.
And they will need a speedies permit. All right, anything else we need to cover, board members? Matt, Ashley, anything you think we missed on this? No. All right, so then I will make a motion that we approve the negative declaration for Meadow Hill Cluster Subdivision and wetland permit application, subject to the modifications that we discussed this evening. May I have a second? Alyssa, if you would do a vote call? You do a roll call of the members if they agree to adopt the negative declaration.
So I just,
Yes.
Curtis Kimball,
Aye.
Jeffrey Mason,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
and Robert Gerstack.
Aye.
Okay, so that's 5-0, and the negative declaration is approved. I suspect, Ashley, you're now going to ask me to set a public hearing.
Yes, that would be the next
She
step
didn't, I
for this
would.
one.
All right, so our next meeting is, let's see, in August, the third Tuesday is the 18th, is that correct? All right. So I will make a motion that we hold a public hearing on the Meadow Hill Cluster Subdivision preliminary plat on August 18th, 2026 at 6:40 or as soon thereafter. May I have a second?
Second.
All right, Alyssa?
I would just change it to 6:30, just in case, you start right at the beginning.
Okay, unlikely, but I'll say 6:30. Thank you. With that modification, 6:30. I have a second? Who was that?
I did second.
Okay, that was Jeff Manson, and now we could do roll call.
Curtis Kimball,
Aye.
Jeffrey Mason,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
Robert Gerstack.
Aye.
All right, so we've set a public hearing, and in the meantime, we will send the application to the county for GML review.
Great. Thank you all
And
very
if I
much.
could make a note too for Alyssa, that the public hearing notice, which I could help her with that, but it will have to go also to the town of Chester, because the property is within 500 feet of the town boundary, so just to make a note of that for when the hearing notice goes out, to make sure it goes to the town of Chester Town Clerk as well.
Right, and we put notice of the public hearing in a paper, in the Times Herald Record.
Yes, it gets
So-
published, so I don't know, I know the paper's always moving how much notice they need, so I think the sooner we get it to them, the better.
Right. Okay, great, thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
all very much. Have a great night.
Thank you. Avoid tornadoes. Yeah, always good advice, exactly. Be careful. All right, let's see here. Next item on the agenda, we are going to continue the public hearing for 20 Owen Drive. 20 Owen Drive? Good evening.
Good evening, Joel Mann, behalf of the applicant. So I don't think there's much to address in this, just like we said, continuation of public hearing, plus we have addressed the comments from the consultants and from, hopefully from the planning board in the last meeting. The emergency access gate was relocated, and we had, like we said, we addressed the Karen's all comments. With that, if there's any other comments or concerns, I'm here to address it, and hope we can move forward and close the public hearing and get the approval.
Okay, so, Ashley, should we take public comment first since they were waiting?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a public hearing. If any members of the public want to speak to the project, please feel free to come up, state your name and address for the record, please. You could come up here. But I think you're going to have to
No
grab on the mic, yeah. Oh, to the table?
Oh.
Okay, George is saying to the table.
Table?
Okay, thanks, George.
Okay, I am Laura Salvati. I live at 509 High Street. So as far as the gate, that is untrue. The trucks are still going around it. I can visualize it from my backyard. And what is Halem? Malum. We see that truck often. So it's mostly pickup trucks and
Who is that?
SUVs that I see going through there. Did anybody go out there and check that gate? And
I can see where,
you can see where they're going around, and they're still going around it.
So the
Just to want to clarify what I
Modification
said
has been-
is, I said that we addressed it on the plan as requested. I didn't say anything about the location. I know the location, the building inspector was there, but
Okay, so my concern is, okay, it's gonna be addressed in the plan, but now the plan's gonna go ahead, and we're gonna have these construction vehicles going through High Street as opposed to going through Smith Farm and around the gate, past our residents.
Yeah, I had been there before when the gate's closed and they get around it. So, and the gate gets opened. So despite whatever's been said, it's not accurate. So something has to happen to permanently stop people coming through High Street.
At least until Vision to the after plan construction. was from where the gate is at the street, chain link fence has been run from the street out to prevent people from driving around the proposed gate. That's not in place now. It's a 4-foot-high chain link fence. I think black vinyl coated was what was proposed, and it continues for quite a distance. So the only way they could drive around that would be to go into the stormwater basin as shown proposed. The remedy for what's currently happening now, I'm not sure if that's an enforcement issue with the building department
Yeah.
or how to resolve that. But
So,
that's how it's proposed to be addressed on the plan.
right, so we can only control at this moment that when these 3 homes are under construction, that gate has to be in place, so that's it. And it's much more robust a system than whatever's out there now. Whatever's happening now is something that you have to bring up with the building inspector.
Okay?
And
Because
we'll bring it up again, too.
Because again, and I've said this before, my concern is, we just had High Street paved. It was terrible for years. And now, if we have construction vehicles going up, which shouldn't be, if it's part of that
Yeah.
community, they should go through the community, that's all.
Appreciate that.
My other question is, did Karen make a permanent decision on trees?
She did issue a comment letter.
Because my concern is, my house from my property line is 35 feet from where they're building the house. I have the closest house. Little 1,700 square foot house, 8,000 square foot house, 35 feet from my property line. I just want privacy, as I'm sure they do.
So she had looked at the plans that were dated June 30th that had been revised, and she said applicant has sufficiently addressed all previously issued comments that she had raised. And we had brought to her attention, I'm sure Matt did, brought to her attention the concerns of residents. So within those areas that can be landscaped, that aren't infrastructure related, my understanding is they planted, so we can bring up the plans. Would they be construction plans?
I think they're labeled construction plans, yes.
Okay.
It's the last sheet.
Last sheet? Okay. Oh, it's
Yeah,
not?
it's not, no, it's blinking. Something.
George, the video that faces out to the audience is blinking? It hasn't worked at all, just so you know, George.
It was working, was
It
on
was
and
on
off.
and off.
There must be a loose connection. Glitzy? Okay. And you're Ms. Badiati?
Salvati.
Oh, Salvati, all right. You're over here, right? That says Drake. Were you under Benju? No, you're over here. Okay. But I remember you were over here somewhere.
Yes, it's that, on the first sheet you can see the name, so.
Okay. So you're right in here, at the corner. Yes. Trees they're planting.
At the last meeting, there was question whether they were going to leave some trees up.
So,
I know behind Benju and I know behind Oliveri, they were leaving trees up. But they also discussed maybe leaving a line of trees behind my house.
that's one sheet.
We have to go one at a time, please.
One sheet before that, you can see the tree clearing line with existing condition.
Right here. So these are large diameter trees. These aren't all the trees. Sorry. Wouldn't that be correct? I don't think you didn't
Right,
survey
yeah,
all
doesn't have
trees.
all the trees, no, you're right. I think we looked at the aerials last time, maybe.
So this is showing the larger diameter trees that would remain in here. This is obviously off their site. But the clearing limit lines are coming pretty close to the boundary.
My boundary, this is me here.
Mm-hmm.
These trees will be left.
This little cluster in here is showing that they're going to be left. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's being cleared and being replaced by,
No, not necessarily. In between that cluster of trees and that standalone tree, there could be trees that are in the area beyond the limit of disturbance that we only look on the plan at trees over a certain diameter. We're not looking at height. Everything is based on the diameter of the tree to determine whether it's a significant tree. But there could be trees all in along there that would remain
But
as well.
that could be.
Well, I'm
And
not
it
standing here
really-
looking at it.
And it is really could be, because the reality is, to be able to plant the tree in that place, you're gonna have to dig the ground. It may be difficult, to avoid roots, so it's possible that if there's saplings there now, they may come down to install these trees here.
And the trees they plan to install, do we have a height on them?
So they're gonna be 10 feet on center, according to this, and they are, yes, there's a table that indicates the sizes. So it looks like these are a combination of PAs, PSs, QP, which are, just go up here.
Evergreens are 6 to 7 feet in height, while deciduous trees like the red maples are 3 to 3.5 inches in caliper, which would be the diameter.
So the QP are pin oaks. So that says 2.5 to 3 inch diameter. PAs are Norway spruce and PS are white pine. So you're going to get a combination of deciduous and evergreen trees, and the evergreen trees are the ones that are going to give you more of the type of screening that you need that's year-round. But so that it's not just like a line of pine trees.
Right.
They're planted in a way that they're mixing the species. And so I just want to go back down to where your property line is. So this is showing, in terms of planted trees, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you can see in here, these are the existing trees that they're proposing to keep.
Okay.
And then along the property line, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're done 10 feet on center because as they grow, they need time, they need space to be able to grow, which is why they're 10
Yeah,
feet on
I'm
center.
not really concerned with those others because that is not my property and I have full bushes disclosure between that property and mine.
Mm-hmm.
It's the back, which you're showing me.
Right in here.
So just to recap, I should get in touch with the building inspector
Yes.
regarding the gate,
Regarding the existing situation
the
with the
existing
gate.
situation.
Correct. Future condition, according to our engineer, they have a much more robust system to ensure that this does not occur.
Okay.
And because it's on a site plan, if something happens, it becomes a violation. Right now, we're in this kind of in-between area. It's really something that's attached to the Smith Farm development, whatever was allowed. So if in the approval docs, if in the construction docs, they're not supposed to bring vehicles through here, that also is a violation, but it's a violation of that other project. Anything going forward after this is approved will be a violation of this project, if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Okay. Ma'am, you had come on up.
Barbara Benju, 505 High Street. So at the last meeting, I spoke about a trail that's in the back, and somebody was supposed to go up and take a look at that. I think one of you gentlemen said you would take a look at it. My question is, maybe you can answer this. These homes that are going to start to be built, is it going to be on top of that trail, or is it going to be beyond the trail? Like, here's my home, here's my trees.
I'm not exactly sure which trail.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't have
know, I
any
can't-
easement or anything on the map or on the survey. I couldn't,
I mean, there's this driveway, what trail are you referring to? And this is 509? You're
I'm
505?
That's my pool.
505?
So beyond that pool, beyond, right there, there's a fence right beyond the
yeah.
pool, and then there's a slope that goes down into like a gully, if you will. I call it the trail
You may
because
be-
I've been there
may-
almost
maybe it's
50 years.
something
and
in
it's-
here.
It's been a
the
trail.
If it's something, it should be like in the next slide, that is the long lot, maybe, because that's down the hill.
But I want to know if the homes are going to be built on that trail or beyond it? Like, is that going to all be sacred ground, so to speak? Is that not going to be touched between my property
Well,
and?
they're showing an area that's supposed to remain undisturbed, which is this triangular area in here.
And what's the footage there? What is the footage between my property line?
You mean the depth?
Yeah. I know it's going to vary because it's going to start small and then get bigger, because
Yeah.
it's going to,
Let me see.
because it's an arc.
These plans are 1 to 30?
What is the shortest amount?
Yeah, I wanted to hear.
That whole area back there, Bonnie, looks like it's out of the limits of disturbance.
Yeah, it's all the way up to here.
All the way
Correct, so
till the-
between there and the pond, farther to
Even
the
further up.
north.
Well, I think you want to know what's the closest point of development to your
Yes.
property line, right?
Yes.
So if this is your property line, the limits of disturbance are about 27 feet in this location, the smallest. And then up here, it's going to be closer to, I don't know, over 100 feet. So it's at an angle. So in this triangular area where it's closer, that's where the tree plantings are happening. So it looks like they are planting AR, QP, PS. Again, it's a combination of Norway spruce, white pine, AR sugar maple, AR sugar maple.
Acer. It's red maple, yeah. Pin oak, it's QP.
So privacy will be gone, basically, unless the trees stay where they are. Right now, there's complete privacy.
I would say that the area that is closest to your southerly property line is going to be, again, the closest. The building isn't right there. It's where the limited disturbance is because you're putting a drainage swale. The building is actually over here. That's the tip of one building. This is your property line. So from the edge of your property to the building, which that's an approximate location, that's 86 feet. And then from this other lot, building to yours is about 115. So the limits of disturbance, where they're going to be grading to put in the drainage, et cetera, is anywhere between 25 and 100 feet. The homes are set back farther. And the only way we can really mitigate it is by putting in landscaping.
All right, thank you.
Anybody else, comments? I'm not closing the public hearing yet because we have to do the negative declaration before we close the public hearing, since we opened the public hearing.
It's okay.
Let's switch to Matt. Do you have any comments?
Just some comments, yes. And again, these are, just to summarize, we received Karen Arndt's final comment letter that her comments had been addressed. To go to our previous discussion, the current plan shows chain link fence extending from the sides of the emergency access gate to the points on the property where a vehicle would not be able to go around it. I think that addresses that concern. A previous comment we had, we requested that the square footage per floor be added to each building. That's now been done on Plan Sheet 1. And then just a reminder that prior to any final approvals, we'll need to go through any estimates for securities, fees, tree mitigation, things of that nature.
Okay. Ashley, do you have comments?
So just a few, I know that the applicant has been in contact with the village. Sounds like they're trying to have some discussions, to bring the village planning board chair up to speed, see if they have any comments as well. I believe the plan was referred to the MCC, the Monroe Conservation Commission. So they have, I think it's 30 days from that referral to give comments for the board's consideration with respect to the trees. I've asked Karen's office to confirm that the trees, in addition to the review she's already done, that it complies with the new tree law, and, you know, so we can determine whether there's any additional mitigation or fees that are required outside of the trees that are being replanted. Let's see. I think that was my main comments, and then I did prepare an EAF Part 2 and 3 and a draft negative declaration for the board's consideration.
Okay. All right, so I'll bring that up in a moment. So I just want to also bring to the public's attention something that you don't necessarily see here is there are woods. This map is showing trees of a particular minimum diameter. So we're not showing all the trees. So, you know, in this area, I want to emphasize that there's more there than what you're seeing existing. The other is that there are doing some plantings here. One of the things I wasn't sure of is whether CALA has also proposed, oftentimes we also have not just trees, but certain types of shrubs, because shrubs also will grow. They provide some infill on the ground that helps also with the screening. So I see leatherleaf viburnum, that's more of a shrub. She's also showing black chokeberry. But before we close this out, I will ask her one more time if there's some additional things that can be added that benefit, again, both the applicant and your homes. This evening, what we're doing is we are adopting what they call a negative declaration. It doesn't mean that we're quite at the end of the process. It means that the planning board is making a determination that there will not be a significant adverse impact requiring a environmental impact statement. So this project is of a size that it doesn't need an environmental impact statement, but that doesn't stop yet the process of the approval's not happening yet because we have to put a resolution together, and so there is an opportunity. Again, I'll talk to Karen one more time to see, is this everything you can do? So with that, I am going to bring up the negative declaration. And we have the SEAF parts 2 and 3. So this is for 20 Owen. And will the proposed action result in change in use of intensity of land? That's yes. Impair the character or quality of the existing community? Yes. Affect existing levels of traffic? Yes. Will it impact public or private water supplies or wastewater treatment utilities? Yes. Proposed action will result in an adverse change to natural resources? Yes. And the potential exists that will result in erosion, flooding, or drainage? Yes. So those are all the things that we've been looking to various studies and the plans to address. So in the negative declaration, this summarizes what's being done to handle these impacts. So this is a draft of the negative declaration for 20 Owen. Is it Owen or Owens?
On.
Yeah, so I think we have to delete the S, Ashley. This is an unlisted action. It's today's date. Description of the action. This is a 3-lot subdivision. of a 3.51 acre parcel in the URM zoning district. So reasons supporting the determination: impact on land use. We are increasing the intensity of the use of the land with the addition of 3 new dwellings, and one is being demolished, so it's net 2. It will change the use of the property. Residential development is consistent with the surrounding development patterns. Is not proposing any new roads. Community character: the action will change the visual character of the area. It's generally consistent. We say it's consistent because it's residential next to residential. Proposed action involves demolishing existing single-family dwelling, constructing 3 new single-family detached dwellings. Lights shall be dark sky compliant, fully shielded, not exceed 3,000 Kelvin. As a result, no significant adverse impacts on the character quality of the existing community are anticipated. I think for community character, if we're talking about visual, we should probably make reference to anything that might be discussing trees and landscaping that perhaps is under flora and fauna.
Okay.
And so I think we could just, yeah, I think we could add a reference in that section down to flora and fauna. Impact on transportation. A lot of this narrative is discussing the emergency gate. There was a traffic impact analysis, and again, the design is such that it's to control getting around the gate. Impact on water supply, wastewater treatment facilities. These are being handled with private on-site wells, but they're going to connect to centralized sanitary sewer.
And just backing up real quick, so I added a sentence under impact on community character. After lights shall not exceed 3,000 Kelvin, I added, as discussed below, the applicant will be adding landscaping, including planting at least 139 trees.
Okay. Impact on water supply, wastewater treatment facilities. This just goes into the well testing that was done. And again, sewer services being provided by existing sewer. So there's no issue with demand and placed on those systems. There was a phase 1A and 1B literature review done, archaeological assessment. Is it Atlas archaeologically or Atlas archaeological? Do you know?
Let me,
I have to check.
Let me see if I have it.
it's probably just archaeological.
Do you remember when you sent it in?
Atlas archaeologically.
But maybe.
It is
wrong.
archaeologically?
Archaeologic.
Archaeologically.
1 second, let me get it correct. It ends with L-O-G-Y, L-O-C.
L-O-G,
G-Y.
archaeology? Archaeology.
Archaeology.
Oh, okay.
Yes, archaeology.
Atlas archaeology.
Yeah, that was a typo there, archaeology.
That's what it sounds like. Okay. Let me get back. All right. So ultimately, SHPO signed off on this as well. The State Historic Preservation Office. Impacts on natural resources. This is where we have some discussion about northern long-eared bat, Indiana bat, can only cut between November 1st and March 31st. And you are going to plant 139 trees at least to mitigate impacts. Drainage and runoff and flooding. You did prepare a stormwater pollution prevention plan. It's been reviewed by our planning board engineer. and no significant adverse impacts anticipated. So that is the draft negative declaration. We're changing the one discussion to reference the trees and screening. Anybody have any additional comments, any revisions to the documents?
No.
No? Okay. So with that, I will make a motion that the planning board adopt the negative declaration for 20 Owen Drive subdivision as amended. May I have a second?
Second.
And Alyssa, if you would take a roll call?
Curtis Kimbrell,
Aye.
Jeffrey Manson,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
and Robert Gerstak.
Okay, so negative declaration has been issued. Are we anticipating doing an approval at the next meeting, subject to whatever last changes are needed? A conditional?
Yes, I think it would be appropriate to do a conditional approval at
Okay,
your next meeting.
okay, so should I leave the public hearing open to the next meeting and close it, or is there?
I don't know that it's necessary to leave it open again, if you think, I mean, the only thing, I guess, is you were gonna reach out to Karen to
Karen.
see if she had any,
Right.
you know,
final comments.
landscaping, so that would maybe be the only item to get the remaining public impact, comment on.
What's the board's preferences?
I'm not opposed to leaving it open.
No? Okay.
I would just make sure that the applicant consents as well, since you were beyond, they had consented previously, but just, if they could confirm
I have
tonight.
no objection of closing it, but
I
give
would-
the board.
I would say to leave it open to the 18th, so that would be our next regular meeting, at which time we would consider closing it and
Okay.
taking action.
No problem,
Okay,
no issue. Since, whatever, again, I want the public to be happy, not looking to, if they
Thank
have
you.
anything to say, well, if we can accommodate that, we'll do it.
thank you. All right, so I will make a motion that we extend the public hearing at the planning board, at the applicant's, with the applicant's consent, to August 18th, 2026 at 6:35 or soon thereafter. Is that okay, Ashley?
Sure.
All right, may I have a second?
Second.
That's Bob. And Alyssa, roll call?
Curtis Kimbrell,
Aye.
Jeffrey Manson,
Aye.
Bonnie Franson,
Aye.
Pat Shea,
Aye.
and Robert Gerstak.
Aye.
Okay, so you've
I will see you
consented
at
to,
6:34.
you will see us on the 18th, right?
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay, next.
You're welcome. Next item on the agenda, we're back to returning projects. We have Curious Joel Cemetery.
Yep.
I think we're trying to figure out where things are with regard to the septic at this point. That seems to be the one item.
Right, so I got the comments, and I think it's very minor in my point of view. I will get information from the septic tank. So the amount of employees that we will have in that building will be maximum 10 or 15.
Joel, if you could speak into it,
Yeah,
just so
sure.
Ashley can hear you too.
The maximum amount of employees that will be in the building is 10. When you use 10 employees, calculated it's 15 gallons per day. That's 150 gallons per day. It's very minor. We will spoke to the engineer already. The company are waiting for the information because they have the information from the tank. We'll supply the tank information, and the engineer will confirm that this is sufficient to handle 150 gallons per day, because that's the minimum requirement.
Yep, so we had received a letter from the company that's been maintaining the system, and from the applicant's engineer stating that the system was functioning properly and should therefore be okay. What we would like to see would be some additional information that the septic tank is 1,200 gallons in size, and the disposal area is approximately, consists of whatever it is. And then, as Joel just said, the projected flows are based on 10 employees, so many gallons per day per employee. This system is capable of adequately treating that. If you remember, I think when this first came in, they were originally proposing a connection to Orange County Sewer. Timing of that, as well as easements needed for it.
No, the main thing was it's too far away and it doesn't pay.
Doesn't
We were
pay.
talking about almost 1,000 linear feet, and the county asked me to do a main. It got very complicated, so
And expensive relative to.
expensing relative to what, so then we put the money in where to investigate what the system is, and we found out that it's good. I was first trying, let's have the sewer, why not?
So is the septic on your property?
Yes.
Okay, because for some reason there was a discussion of off-site, I got confused.
There was,
There was a discussion of offsite, and the way the letter references, I think the address on the letter was 34 Scunnamunk, and it said some kind of church. So when you're doing that new letter from the engineer, with the additional information that Matt mentioned, if you could make sure that the letter specifically references this section, block, and lot number, so it's clear that, it's the septic on this parcel.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what was getting confusing, because then it sounded like it was an
Yeah, I
off-site
think there's
septic
two different
system.
addresses too. There was
Oh,
30
I
and
see, there's two
34. I
different-
thought your address
This says
is 30 and
34 and this is
so-
saying 30. There's multiple addresses on that site, so, but whatever. We'll
Okay.
clarify it.
Okay, is that the only thing we need, or is there anything else?
I think
Matt?
we're even showing in the plan the location, no?
there is a location shown on the plan, and part of the confusion was, at one point, they were proposing to construct a new septic system. That proposal would have been on the adjoining parcel in the village.
Oh.
So they've since said, okay, we're not going to do that. We investigated the existing system and will now verify that it's adequate
Okay,
for the flow. And the existing system is shown on this parcel.
okay,
It's just, it's an area labeled septic system.
okay,
It doesn't say what it is.
okay,
So if they can
We're
get
gonna
that
get more
additional information and show it
details.
on the plan,
okay.
and then provide the statements as to the flow and that it's adequate for it, that would most likely be sufficient.
Okay. All right, so,
I think that's the only thing. I had one more other just small comment. We had talked about the lighting details at the meeting. I think it was April, and there was a picture of the lighting fixture, but on sheet 3. But I don't believe it shows the actual specs. It doesn't have the color temp. You had requested 3,000 Kelvin. If that could be
Yeah.
added to that detail.
yep, full cutoff.
It should be what, 3,000?
Did you look at the detail?
No.
Was it?
No more than 3,000
No,
Kelvin. I don't see 3,000 Kelvin on the detail. It has just foot candle lines. On at least what I have in the folder.
Okay.
Okay? Yeah, if something's being added, we want it 3,000, or in general, we just want 3,000 Kelvin. Keep it not stark white. All right? So we did already get the GML review. We had our public hearing. So I think at this point, Ashley, did you,
So we previously talked about doing a negative declaration and a resolution, but I don't have that for this evening because of the septic question that we were waiting on.
I'm trying to remember if this was a type 2 or unlisted, because there are no changes, correct? There's nothing-
It's unlisted because it was over 4,000
4,000?
square feet.
Okay. Okay, so
The
yeah.
building was built without approval.
Okay, got it. All right, so board members, are you all right with our attorney drafting a negative declaration and a decision? Yeah? Yes? All right. So, yes, Ashley, if you would take care of that for the next meeting.
Great. And Joel, if whenever you send that septic information, if you could include me on the email as well, that way I get it,
Sure.
as soon as you submit it.
Yep.
So we'll plan on having you back on August, just, subject to you getting that information to us.
I will have it the next couple of days. So.
Okay, perfect. Anything else we need to address?
Not on my end.
Okay. Ashley, anything?
Nope.
Anybody else? Everybody good? All right. That's
I
it
have
for the...
just a question.
Oh,
on,
sure.
actually, not this project, but just wondering on the traffic light, I see they're building the road there on Ninninger Road.
Dash.
To finish,
In about 2 months, hopefully. Yeah. So the plan is in 2 months to be ready to open it up. There's a lot of technicals. We have an Orange Rockland utility line that needs to be moved, and we're back and forth. I don't know if you ever dealt with that firm with about pole relocations. Every time they have a different path how to go. So I hope to nail it down soon. And the traffic light is already in order. So we hope to have like the updated, it will be fully updated traffic light. We also need to finish the other leg. So that means once we get to the road, we have like the bridge, not the bridge by itself, but on the bridge, you will have like all the turning lanes, the same thing in Ninninger Road across, coming from Woodbury side. There will be widening, so on all 4 legs to allow for all kinds of turning lanes. So I'm not sure if that will also be done in about 2 months, but if not, it will be a couple weeks after. So hopefully before the winter, that road will be open. It will be a major positive impact to the area.
6-lane.
It'll be interesting.
It's going to be interesting to see the
It's
improvement.
going to change the whole dynamics there, so it's
Very good.
It's massive. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. So we will see you in August.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Hopefully,
you.
unless I will be out of country, but I will.
Out of country?
I don't know. I might be
Oh,
trying to go as much as I can.
don't go too far.
He's a man of international intrigue.
Yeah.
Okay. Have a good weekend. Thank
too,
you very
Joe.
much. Have a good night.
Thank you. You've been sitting here for a little. You have a question? I do. Is it okay for the board? Do you want to entertain a comment?
Sure.
You've been patient waiting here, so you can. We may not have answers, but coming up. And just state your name and address for the record.
You want to know why they pay us so little.
Not her question.
Asking the tough questions. Okay, Patricia Salazar, 3 Montauk Road, resident of Round Lake community. So I've never attended one of these meetings, but I am curious in terms of if this is the forum to ask the questions about particularly the 72-acre property that's off of Round Lake, the island there. I just have a couple of questions in terms of like if...
So you can ask questions, but we literally don't have anything in front of us regarding the property.
Got it.
So, we know it. If we're in the community, we're aware of various commentary on it, but there is no official application in front of us, no plans in terms of what's happening.
Okay. Just because, I wanted to attend the meetings and just get, I guess, information from the people who
Sure.
oversee the town. But in terms of statements about who owns that island there and whatnot, is it like public information in terms of who owns the island?
Sure.
Okay. And,
Yes.
and is that publicly available information?
Yeah, I
Is
can
that
bring it
some-
up right now, real quick.
Okay.
Joel, is that your property? It's trying to get
Yeah,
on
why
the
why don't you
speaker.
sit down so you're on the record? Thanks, Joel.
Okay.
He has more information than us.
Yes.
This is all. That's my.
You can pull it forward, you should be able to turn it on.
No.
Just turn the button. No? Did it die?
The battery wasn't charged, George.
Oh, okay. You'll have to share then.
Okay, this one is working. So there's multiple, so the island by itself is being owned by John Sorrentino. There was years ago.
John who?
John Sorrentino.
Sorrentino, okay,
Yes.
yeah.
He a
I
couple
know that.
of years ago he had a couple subdivisions in the town,
Right.
and when that subdivision is supposed to be filed, he's supposed to give that over to the town. That never happened, so he still owns it. There was something about he put it out for a lease, and I think someone in the town leased that from him. And whatever the rest, I'm not sure if it's is a lot of details. Now, the 72-acre parcel is being managed by me. I was actually planning to go maybe to one of the town board, didn't have a chance at that time to address that. There was a lot of accusations that things are happening. I had already every government agency on that property. Everyone has seen that nothing is happening besides, you remember, the planning board remembers that on Front Street there was a property that subdivided a piece from that
Yes.
property. So,
The lot line adjustment.
so to give a little bit history about that story and now to understand what that has tied with the 72-acre, before the current owner was living there, Jack Ehrenreich, I don't know if you remember him, he lived there for years, decades. So when I started managing the 72-acre, at one point he claimed that he owns a portion of the 72-acre, wherever. So he actually had a shed there, whatever, you handle that, there was a violation. So he was sending to the owner of the property a claim in a rabbinical court, so that he owns a portion of the property as adverse possession. To make a long story short, at the end of the day, he sold the property. So the next owner has to deal with the violation that he had a shed, he had multiple things in someone else's property. I worked with a neighbor, he was a nice guy. I worked with him, we sold him a portion of the property. One thing that bothered us very much, that this property, the 72-acre, was like open to everyone, was no safety. So we took the money from that sale. Now we fenced the property, cleaned up, there was a lot of fallen trees. I had the DC was there, I worked with the DC, the property. The county, a couple of years, already I told for the county that about 10 years ago there was overflows in that line. There's a main line from the county that runs through that property. There was a lot of overflows. So but what it is, they raised all the manholes. If you're walking in that whole line has like about 10, 15 feet. You have a manhole, so they have more capacity. When there is peak times, the capacity from the sewer gets into the manholes. I think the county is part of their long-term plan. They will probably redo that line, but as of now, so they made a whole mess when they did that on that property. So we're fixing that. There was, like, they built up things. They had some 8-inch pipes across that got clogged and blocked the water from flowing through. We cleaned that up. That's basically what we're doing. And again, we had the building inspector, we had the town board, we had the DEC there. The DEC clarified where the wetlands is, that we're not even have any car even probably in a couple 100 feet away from the wetlands, so there's no concerns. Other than that, always ready to answer any concerns.
You expect to file plans? Or?
Nothing, really not. I didn't even start with any
It's going to be
sketches.
conservation?
What? Maybe if the town is ready to buy, I don't know. But again, it's really was purchased 10 years ago, and it's sitting there with no plans for now. Maybe one day.
So there's no, right now, they're not doing any well testing, there's no
No.
well, there's nothing happening at all?
Correct.
No, just even investigations to
No.
preliminary?
Really not. I got so much attention, which we're thinking maybe we should do it, but it was really not in plan. It just like that. We got that money, it was under $100,000. We used that to fence the property and clean it up. And
Okay.
The line that you're referring to, the county line, that's a sewer line or a?
there's a sewer main.
It's right in here, that's what this
Yeah.
line is
Okay.
when you see it on the.
The county made a road, it was, they made, when they raised the manholes, they actually raised the whole road, they made the whole, it's very obvious what they did, and it was bothering me a while ago, but we clean it up right now, and that's it. It's everything, not cutting any trees, not, and again, with the entrance, so we try to use the most quiet, a simple entrance on Front Street. There was an existing culvert already, so there is a little bit of a stream crossing along Front Street. So we used the entrance with an existing culvert that DPW and everyone approved at the end. First of all, I was under the impression it's an existing. They said the existing was the other side. It was a whole discussion at the end. Everyone agreed that that's the path where it is. And
There's some interesting, street little terminations that end at the property. This was at one point probably anticipated to connect,
yeah,
excuse me, to the surrounding neighborhood. Because you have like a little, I don't know what this is, I don't know if it's owned by
I think
anybody.
that's owned by the county.
Right, that's probably how they, in
Because
theory.
the county is using that as access, but now they're not using it.
Right,
They're
and
coming
then-
in from the other side where they have
You could see it here at the end of Park Terrace, they
Yeah.
had a little area. The lot itself goes out to Cromwell Hill.
right on this side,
Right.
and then there's another area.
And then I'm curious about this. What is this?
This is a cemetery. So I own a cemetery.
That's a
It's an interesting
cemetery.
thing.
Congratulations.
It's
Who's
the
is it a historic?
Is it a good
fam-
business?
it's the- I will find out.
Cromwell
It's the
family?
Cromwell family. That's what I
Ah,
heard. Yes.
Interesting. And then it shows that this is Jonah
I
Drive.
don't have even access to that because it's gated off. I have no idea what's going on there.
Interesting. So whoever owned it kept it. Who was the owner before you?
It was a 90-year-old guy. I don't remember the
Or
name.
was he a Cromwell?
No.
Was he part of the family?
No, it was someone who owns it since the 60s, 70s. I don't know.
Okay.
He told me it was already a fight with the town. Whole
Okay.
story, I don't know.
Sorrentino still owns the island.
What?
It's showing
And
up as
Sorrentino
Meadow
still
Hill,
owns the
which I
island.
think is him.
Oh, really?
There's an easement from that 72-acre to access the island.
So I understood that this island was supposed to have been part of, instead of recreation fees, this was going to be given to the town as
Yeah.
part of some subdivision. I don't know what happened.
So the one, because the town purchased the subdivision at the end, was never filed as part of the settlement. It was the Pollock Farm, Shea Meadows, the couple
That was part of this?
Yes.
Oh, interesting, okay.
So the
Sorrentino
deal was
Sorrentino
when-
owned them all. Didn't he?
Sorrentino owned them all and sold them, but it was still part of the agreement with the town. The resolution was when the day you file the subdivision, that day he needs to deed that to the town.
I remember
But since that
seeing,
never happened,
I remember seeing some plan at some time. He didn't own this, he owned something, because I remember seeing a bridge
yes,
proposal.
from the 72-acre parcel. Because
Yeah, but that was
they have
his
a
proposal.
No, there's an access easement that they have, that they can build a 50-foot wide, whatever. Yeah, so
luck
there
with
is a
that.
plan before the planning board. It's in planning board documents, the old documents, I have
It's
seen it.
really old, I know. I'm
Yeah,
familiar with this.
not that, probably 15 years.
Yeah.
Not that old that you can see there's a helipad, helicopter pad, and
It's probably 20 years old.
yeah,
Yeah.
possibly.
It's.
I remember it, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a 6-acre parcel. I don't know exactly what
Right.
hidden things there is on that island. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, sorry, is there any electrical work going on the property?
So
Carl.
yes, so we applied for Orange Rockland to put on cameras on the property.
We put on camera?
Cameras?
Yeah. So so they're going to
Like
put a
trail
meter.
cams? Like trail cams?
Trail cams, yes.
You're going to send us the wildlife pictures?
Whatever you want.
The
Can
bear
share.
that are buying the property? Okay. Do you have other questions? Did this help? Okay.
You live in the area?
Yeah, she needs the mic back. Joy.
Oh, sure.
Yes, I'm a Round Lake resident, and so
Okay.
conversations have been happening, and I
Yes.
just want to get the
We're-
information from,
We're definitely aware of
Sources,
them.
yeah.
I've had communications with the supervisor because obviously, she gets the calls. We've talked about the road little access point that was built along I think it's a pump station. This was a lot line adjustment that we had reviewed, so we actually are aware of this area because there was a lot line adjustment between the big lot and that adjoining residential parcel.
It's actually interesting that the pump
Yeah.
I don't know when that happened, but.
There's
I
no
guess-
easement on the,
No, there's
No.
only easement on the line up in the pump station, but again, it's, I'm
the
dealing
sold
with the,
stuff,
I'm not
yeah.
going to take it away. I'm dealing with the county sewer
Yeah.
every day, so it's not like.
so,
So much interest in this. I've had so many questions from people
yeah.
that I would expect to see headlines in the photo news.
But I think, again, at this point, from our perspective and our role, we don't get involved until an application is submitted where something's actually proposed, whether it's a subdivision or something that requires site plan approval. Anything minor that might be going on, installation of a fence, putting utility lines, that's coordinated with the building inspector, because there are certain permits that are required. The only thing where we might have been involved is any wetland, because we have our own local wetland law. So that would have to, come through, again, building inspector would have to send us, a notice that there was a violation, that they have to come in, fix it. That's the only thing I can think of that right now at the moment we, in theory, could be involved with. But our wetland regulations, when there's not a site plan involved, gives authority to the building inspector
Yeah.
for wetland permits. So we're just not involved. I think that's the best we can say for now, until there's an actual application. Okay?
Thank you for bringing us up to
And
date
like
on
I
that,
said,
Joel.
I will be very open. Again, no plans now. There might be, things can change, but it's not like was any plans, just since you were involved in the lot line change, you know from where it's coming.
Right, right.
Get the money from there to try, let's invest it in the safety of the property.
So Joel, when you say you manage it, do you manage it or are you part owner in the LLC?
I'm partner in LLC.
Part owner? Okay. So you might be the managing partner, but you also have some ownership
Yes.
interest? Okay, thank you. Okay?
Thank you.
So therefore, you're talking to the owner also, who would know best?
It was perfect timing.
Okay,
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
thank
I was
you.
actually planning to go to a town board meeting and explain that to the public.
And here we are.
Maybe I will do that maybe one day, so,
Okay, thank you.
all.
thank you.
Sure thing, thank you.
Thank you, good night.
All right, so at this point, I think we only have minutes to approve, so Matt,
Take
if you'd
more
like
minutes.
to, if you'd like to pack up, and Ashley, unless there's something you want to bring us up to speed on,
Nothing for me. Have a good night, everyone.
have a good night, bye. All right, I'm trying to quit out of that. All right, so, I had done the May minutes, so I can vouch for, I think they're accurate, but I don't think you
Approved.
approved the May minutes at the last
Approved.
meeting?
Everybody.
No, I don't believe
Approved.
we did.
Okay, so let me
Right.
just quick bring it up, I'm sorry. Which one are you bringing up? May. Those were the last
5/19.
ones I worked on.
Yeah, I don't recall having.
I think what happened is you had, the agenda was in there.
Yes.
Right? But not the minutes. Have a good night, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Aye.
So, here we go. So this was in the Dropbox file, and I had some words highlighted because I could not make out what was said. And regardless of the fact that this is a lower rate or alien amount, I'm not sure. That's all I could make out. One of the difficulties is when we have Ashley or Frank on the speaker on Zoom, you sometimes just don't make out what they're saying. Mohini, this is when we reapproved the Peters application. And what else? This was the Monroe Commons. There was a lengthy discussion again with regard, Dan Richmond was there. And we asked him, he had to come back because they were trying to get some changes, but they really didn't respond to what all the other conditions were of approval. Then we had Walton Terrace dwelling and lot consolidation, that was Jesse Shea was there for us. Two-family dwelling on 249 Mountain View Ave, that was Mike Morgante, and we actually approved that one that evening. And then Manuel Palais minor subdivision on 52 Catskill Ave, they were in front of us. And that's the one that it's on a private road. Like the road turns into a private road. And so we just had some additional work that had to be done on the mapping. And then we actually got through February, March, and April minutes. So if anyone wants to make a motion to approve it or make changes.
So moved.
Okay.
Approve.
So you're going to make the
Aye.
motion.
Yeah.
Who will make the second?
Second.
Okay, so that's Pat and Bob. And then you could do a roll call.
Aye.
Jeffrey Manson,
Aye.
Bonnie Frazenson,
Franson.
sorry, I apologize.
Aye. It rhymes with Manson.
I know, I apologize. Pat
So aye.
Shea,
Aye.
thank you, and Robert Gerstack.
Aye.
Okay, so May's approved. Now, June, these are Alyssa's minutes. And I was not at this meeting. So I don't know if you are,
Approved.
I'd
if
like
you want to wait.
I'd like an opportunity to review these.
Do you
in
wanna
full.
table these?
Yeah, if we would, please.
Okay, so we will table the June minutes, the draft, because then you'll have a chance to look at it. All right,
I move we adjourn.
who's going to make the second?
Second.
That was Bob. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any nays? Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.